What happens when you mix deep psychology, radical acceptance, and a sassy dose of stand up wisdom? You get this unforgettable episode with the one and only Monique Marvez, comedian, truth teller, and fierce advocate for emotional liberation. We're going to explore the law of allowing today, how it overlaps and clashes with the concept of acceptance in psychology, and what it means to truly let go of control, judgment, and that desperate need to be right today on Off the Couch.
What an intro. I would like you to add "and friend" because I am a friend of the show.
You are a friend. You're a friend of the show. It's so great to have you on Off the Couch. But because today, because growth doesn't happen lying down. That's our new tagline, by the way.
Growth doesn't happen lying down. Wow, I'm going to let that go.
And we're here.
It's got about 4 punchlines.
This is.
But
I know, because sometimes growth does happen lying down. I get it.
Kneeling. Yeah. No, anyway, we're just going to, moving right along.
No, I really appreciate you being here. So it's Off the Couch with Dr. Greg. We have producer Brian Gomez.
Hey, Brian.
Happy Tuesday, you guys.
And we have Tony on the board somewhere. But
Remote.
We are in our new studio, but we are not all the way there. And so today had to be the perfect episode to do.
Allowing
things to be exactly
Go with
what
it.
they are. So today we're going to talk about Monique. We're going to talk with Monique Marvez because this is something that we've talked about a lot personally, and something I actually found extremely compelling, and something I had actually found compelling before I even met you in person. I've heard you on the radio, and I actually had to think maybe my attraction to the writings of Abraham Hicks, or the Esther and Abraham Hicks, may have been from listening to you way back on KFI in the old days.
Goes back far.
So, I mean, who knows what came first, the chicken or the egg, but it's always been something that intrigued me. And so when you brought it up once over breakfast, I was really intrigued. I was like, oh yeah, no, I know this. And I had already entertained this many different ways and just kind of separated from that New Age theory, which we'll go into incorporating it into psychology.
I don't know that New Age theory is that just sounds kind of woo-woo.
It does, but I think that's the category a lot of people.
You can put it in woo-woo.
That's a lot of umbrella people put it under. So, we're gonna talk about why trying to change other people is like yelling at your GPS when you're already lost. So I have a questionnaire.
Oh, are you going to ask me questions?
We're going to ask us all questions. So today, our quiz, do you allow the law of allowing? So let's go 5 questions. Brian, I want you to do it. Tony, I don't know if you're there or not. We don't hear you, but Monique, you get to count for yourself. So number 1, do I let others be who they are without trying to change them? And just hold up a finger. Do I release resistance to situations that don't go my way? Can I maintain emotional peace even when others disagree with me? Do I trust that life is unfolding for my highest good? Am I aware when I try to control people or outcomes unnecessarily? I knew you would be a solid 5. I knew you would be a solid. That's Monique is a solid 5. I'm only holding up 3 fingers. Brian, how about you, Sel?
Yeah, I have 3 as well.
So, we have some work to do.
Or not.
Or
it's part of allowing.
Well, I guess
I like that perspective a lot.
It could be just part of your personality, and it's something you'll either move out of or deal with.
Well, I don't always think about the things are unfolding for my highest good. So that's almost an alien question to me, and I have to start thinking that way.
That's the only way I think.
Yeah, that's
my baseline. That's my default setting.
Even when something bad happens for me, it's for a reason.
I always tell
people it's happening for this
opportunity.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is just what it is. I go into radical acceptance, which I think does reflect my sort of
allowing.
It is kind of allowing. It is very much kind of allowing. And am I
allowing light?
And am I aware when I try to control people or outcomes unnecessarily? I don't know that I always am aware because I don't try to control other people generally. What?
I have something to say.
Yeah.
As your friend, I think I if I had one thing to challenge my belief that you're perfect, it would be this. The person you most try to control is yourself.
Oh, that may be true.
You have a very hard time just allowing yourself to flow through life, feel what you feel. Am I saying too much?
No, I appreciate that. I appreciate feedback. So
Yeah, because you have some notion that certain behaviors are proper and acceptable and the way you should be. And you have other notions that this is not what I should be doing right now. And the not what I should be doing really has to do with what you believe to be a loss of control, whether it's saying something that is very authentic and true, but could be perceived as negative or critical, or
that's true.
just and I think that as we get to be better friends, I'm very grateful when you say I'm about to say something, because I know that it's like you're getting comfortable letting it fly, saying what you think you need to say in that moment. And it makes me very happy. And the weirder and less controlled it is, and the more authentic it is, you would be shocked how not shocking it is.
Oh, you mean what I'm saying?
Yeah, like the things that you think are like, I can't, or like, that's Tuesday in my work.
Well, my big fear, and I know this, and I've struggled with this for years, and I've been aware that hurting another person to me is anathema. Like
You don't have the power to hurt another person. You're not that important.
Ah,
And the reason why I'm saying that is the other person gets to decide how they receive your information.
and yet they receive it so strongly. So
Well, you're an important person.
I had a supervisor once. I wrote an article, and she just redlined it to death and said it was awful and terrible.
It was on her.
I know. I actually really disagreed with her, and I thought this was a good article. And I said, you can give me feedback, but you basically destroyed the article. And she became so upset and so dismissive of my critique back. And it really was a moral wound that I had to deal with the rest of the time she was my
You gave her a mortal wound?
Well, she acted like it was a mortal wound. At the time, I was in graduate school, and she really received it that way.
I get it. I had a teacher in 11th grade at Gable Senior High. I'm not going to say his name, but he kept saying, men lead lives of quiet desperation, Walt Whitman. And I said, no, sir. I raised my hand. I said it was Henry David Thoreau. He said it was Whitman. I said it was Thoreau. And I did not back down, because I'm just not that person. And I think we all know who was right. And he hated me for the remainder of the year. But he called me after class and he said, you'd have to contradict me. I said, hey, you have a classroom full of people that you're telling incorrect information. And what is it in you that when somebody's giving you the correct information can't just say, oh, you know what? You're right. That's a fault in you, bro. I mean, I didn't say it like that, but you know what I mean? Like,
I do know, and he just is
it's on her. It has nothing to do with you.
No, and it seems it's something I slide into. I'm always
Probably
aware.
your husband was cheating on her with his secretary, and you were there on the wrong day.
Maybe so, but
that's part of the 4 agreements. It's don't take things personal.
But you're sliding into something a little different, which could be under the same umbrella, I suppose.
It's a big umbrella. That way, it's the biggest umbrella.
But yeah, to allow other people to have their own reactions, to be your part of the allowing. But it's on them, and I'm always trying to be aware of my effect on others. Nonetheless, I do believe I have an effect on others, and I do try to be mindful of that.
Yes.
So that's that.
Are you a nice person?
I generally try to be a nice person.
Oh,
I've had my moments.
I need to correct you. You are the nicest person. Well, you are so wonderful. You do have a strong personality. You have a large presence. That is true. People probably do take what you say with authority. You are a doctor, PhD, and you do carry weight and gravitas. But when I say you can't hurt another person's feelings, what I mean is everything is intention. If it was not your intention to hurt their feelings and that's the way they took it, there was something in the energetic alchemy between your mouth and their ear that was on them. They just, because you have no malice in you.
No, but that I can't believe where it's this like therapy session of Greg suddenly. But
No, and I apologize for that, but
no, but I do remember in my when I was on my internship at UT Austin when I was there, and they said that a lot of people were intimidated by me,
I've been hearing that my whole life.
and I was like, I'm not trying to intimidate. Like
You're a tall white male.
and I think that was the reason.
On the gym.
And they wanted to. I've been encouraged to pull it back, pull it back, and it always strikes me the type of people that say that, but they are people who are very impacted by ourselves and myself.
My ex-husband one time, second ex-husband, because there's been more than one. He told me I was always helping other comedians get work.
Yeah.
And I do that. I book people, I connect people.
Wonderful.
I have me. I have zero. And one day he said to me, and it's a long story, but I won't just tell you, but he would like spy on the other comics in the green room or whatever. It was just a thing. It's because a lot of people didn't know we were married. I didn't make a big deal out of it. But he was always, in his mind, had my back. And he would say, that person that you just got that gig? I said, yeah. He goes, I'll say his name, Jimmy Wiggins. I don't care. He said, he's probably dead. He was old then. He said, he talks smack about you when you're not around. Like, you do all these nice things for you. Just so you know, all these comedians that you're so nice to, they hate you. They don't like you. They talk bad about you. They're intimidated by you, jealous of you, whatever words he used. And I said, if they respect and or fear me enough to pretend they like me in person, that's good enough for me. Do me a favor and never tell me again that you overheard or think or know that someone doesn't like me, because it's not important.
Well, you know what my theory is, by the way. I think that's great, by the way, number one.
Thank you.
And my theory there is that the person telling you that someone else said something bad is really trying to say that bad thing and blame it on somebody else.
Well, that's true too, because I always want to say, and what was your motivation for sharing that piece of information with me?
Exactly. Yeah, that particular thing doesn't go with me when someone says, so-and-so said this about you. And I'm like, well, let so-and-so tell me, why are you telling me that right now?
Right.
I mean, literally, I have to say I killed the messenger at that point, because I'm saying, why are you delivering that message to me right now?
But the point of the story, to get us back, is that the fact that your presence rattles another human is not your problem. Your job is to allow yourself. The first law of allowing is to allow yourself. So if you're larger than life, if you're some big, delicious marshmallow moving through life with stuff just, sticking to you and, whatever it is, because I just think of that big Stay Puff guy is what made me say
Stay
that.
Puff, the Stay Puff.
Big giant.
In Ghostbusters.
Yeah. But, if you're larger than life, then that's good on you.
So let's talk about the law of allowing. Thank you. I think I bastardized it a little bit at the beginning. So you'll have to do all the correcting of me. I just wrote out.
There's no correcting of you. I allow your bastardization.
It rooted in New Thought philosophy, popularized by Esther and Jerry Hicks of Abraham
Rest in peace, Jerry.
Hicks teachings.
Mm-hmm.
So this is this Abraham person that...
Well, so she channels. Esther Hicks was married to a man named Jerry who was fascinated by channeling. She wasn't even the person who was into it. It was him. But then she started channeling this disembodied entity known as Abraham. And she basically has been retreading the same material, which are the 3 laws of the universe, for 30 years. I became aware of her, of Abraham Hicks, in November, early 96, end of 95, early 96.
Yeah.
I had bootleg cassettes because she wouldn't even allow herself to be filmed or recorded early on, unless you were part of the scene, so to speak. So yes, but I mean, she popularized the idea of the 3 laws of the universe, which are the law of attraction, the law of deliberate creation, and the law of allowing.
Excellent. Yeah, those are the three. The law of attraction, like attracts like. Law of deliberate creation, thought creates reality. And the law of allowing, which releasing resistance, which I have to say, that's what kind of helped me to zero in, because the law of attraction and deliberate creation was not as bought into, that I'm very bought into the law of allowing, because it is so parallel to psychological concepts that it really excited me. And I'm not to say like does attract like. I'm not saying that
Very
doesn't.
similar people, you and I.
And a thought creates reality. I've had ideas that I then make into, things. Like right now we had an idea to do our studio, and we're making it into a studio. It's not an easy process. We haven't waved the magic wand, but
No.
we're making progress toward that.
If it were easy, everyone would do things.
If it were easy, everyone would do that.
That's why I tell people, I want to be a comedian. Okay. All right. And then they go, how long till I'm a headliner? I go, quit now. Just stop.
Is that really how do people, in setting goals like that? Yeah, that's just completely beyond me. I want to be a headliner. I guess you could be a headliner in your own house.
Sure.
So, and you
got a garage? Yeah. You got a garage? Got some folding chairs?
Yeah. So, you got to be a little more specific than that. You didn't think about how to get there. But you don't even know how to get there. You just at least set yourself on that path. I always say that, you got to have the goal at the end of the path.
Sure.
And then you chart a course and be prepared to take detours. Like the course isn't necessarily going to take you there, but something.
Not even close.
So you have to keep following toward that objective. It's sort of like, I want to go to New York. I'm in California. I'm going to take, these roads to get there, but there are going to be many detours, stops, maybe even have to switch entire routes because of weather. I mean, it's going to happen.
I was a road comic. I know it better than most.
You know that. So, let's talk about this, because I do want to just skip to what I thought was so parallel. Because let's talk about the law of allowing. Like, what is the law of allowing to you? I've been talking a lot about things, but
well, it's your show. What do you think allowing means, Dr. Greg?
Okay, so to me, I conceptualize allowing in contrast to resistance, and that not resisting, which is very much a bad path. And I have a whole concept that I came up with all by myself. This would just, because I like, things to be in line. So I did my A's around acceptance and my R's around resignation.
Okay.
So for me, the two concepts that are in opposition are acceptance and resignation, but people get them mixed up all the time. And I'll have a lot of people saying that, oh, I gave up. I'm over that. I'm over that getting fired. I'm over it. And I'm like, wow, no, you're not over it. You're not. I've accepted it. And I'm like, no, you didn't accept that. You may be resigned to the fact that you got fired, but you did not accept it. And I could talk why. Yeah.
Well, I was going to, it's funny you should say that. I had an ex-boyfriend. I like saying ex because when I tell you the story, the people, oh, I get it. And he said to me, you know what's the matter with you? If I had a dime for every man that said, you know what's the matter with you, we could have a very nice podcast studio. So I said, heck, I'll bite. He said, you don't compromise. I said, no, I don't. And he was like shocked, and I was like, this is news to you? I said, the word, when you compromise, okay, when you say the experiment was compromised, the scientists are not happy. Like, everybody's upset and a bunch of Petri dishes hit the garbage can. So when you compromise, neither person really gets what they want. And it creates a little bit of resentment. So, no, I don't compromise. Here's what happens. 85% of the time, I absolutely I capitulate. I surrender. I let the other person have what they want. 85% of the time in my relationships, whether it's with family or with lovers or significant others, they can have whatever they want 85% of the time. because I really don't care about that many things.
Mm-hmm.
I have no attachments.
That is true.
I don't have expectations.
This is actually true.
These are the words that get you over the barrel. Expectations and attachment.
No, you're surprisingly free of expectations.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is nice, but at the same time a little jarring because that's not how a lot of people are.
But the 15% that actually is part of my core value makeup that matters to me, non-negotiable.
Well, okay.
But it's like so nothing.
Well, as someone who's like you, I will roll toward the other person, especially if I'm kind of neutral about it. Like, who cares? I don't need to win on that.
Nah.
And, and if they'd rather like eat at Jack in the Box versus eating at the other taco place I want to go eat at, I'd be like, okay, like I can find something to eat.
Absolutely.
I don't need to like.
Yeah, I'm a pescatarian, but there's always a side dish.
There's always something.
They got nothing. I eat coleslaw and baked potatoes all the time.
Oh yeah,
I love coleslaw. Take those.
So yeah, I contrast these two concepts of acceptance and resignation, and I think the whole thing about allowing, to me, well, first of all, let's talk about acceptance. I say in acceptance, there's first acknowledgement without judgment. So you're acknowledging what's going on. It's really like describing the incident, like this is happening, but you're removing judgment, like it shouldn't happen.
It just is.
It just is. 2 is allowing it, and that is just stepping back, is sort of allowing it to happen. And number 3 is appreciating it, and that's the part that I think is often the hardest to struggle with, and sometimes do, is stepping back and seeing the higher good. Is to say, even though this bad thing is happening, I know it's for a good reason. That's where I struggle a bit, because sometimes I'm like,
That's my favorite part.
advice.
That's like the chocolate syrup.
You can help me with that one. I'm still in the ice cream and whipped cream phase, but resignation I see is the opposite, and I see that's what a lot of people call acceptance. This is what I have the biggest issue with. I say number 1 is react, and really they're reacting to a preconceived notion, a judgment, and they're often going straight into a.
And I'm going to go deeper. They're not reacting. Their ego is.
Yeah.
About 75 to 80% of the time, if you remove your ego from the situation, it immediately flattens out. Because when I hear people get upset, if I may, I work on cruise ships, comedy clubs, whatever. When they spell my name wrong, when they use an old picture, when they do a AI bio that's stupid.
No sense.
Yeah. I don't care. Other acts get so wrapped around the axle. And I'm like, you know what? The people that buy the tickets either know who I am or don't know who I am. If they know who I am, they know what they're getting. I do a good show. If they don't know who I am, then I surprise them and they're like, I did not expect this to be this good. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you really think that your bio is what's going to sell a ticket, it might sell 2. But the upset that you're causing yourself, the resentment you're feeling against the poor idiot who's just trying to do his job and, keep the club owner out of his life, whatever that thing that's going on that made that happen, it's inconsequential once you take your ego out of, don't they know who I am? I'm Chuck Jones.
Well, that's, yeah, well, Chuck Jones, he was quite the figure in the comic space, in the cartoon space, but yes.
You know what's funny? I don't even know who Chuck Jones is.
That's just Bugs Bunny.
That's my fake name. Oh, like whenever I want it, like, how people say John Doe? Yeah. Mine's just Chuck Jones. So it's Chuck Jones.
Oh, that's a good one, actually. Okay, so resignation, I believe it's first reacting from the ego. I agree with that. And then number 2, resisting, trying to keep it from happening. That would be, to talk about your example,
ridiculous.
The person going back to, and saying, you spell my name wrong.
Yeah, happens all the time.
And then they can't do anything about it, or they couldn't, get it fixed in time, and then they end up resenting it.
Judging
or having that anger.
Festering.
Yeah, and that's like sulfuric acid on any relationship is resentment.
Oh, resentment's the worst.
The worst. And so I always believe that we have a grander purpose here. I always believe that if there's a grander purpose to humans being on Earth, it's for us to come together hold the joke. But the other is that I think that resignation has us start to pull apart because that sulfuric acid of resentment just separates people and makes them.
Well, resignation is you gave up on the
You
relationship.
give up on the relationship.
You're not allowing, you're giving up.
And
It's not the same thing.
And people call that acceptance. And I'm like, no, it is the exact polar opposite of acceptance. Because it is, in fact, destructive, where acceptance is constructive and brings people together, even though it may not be the outcome you want. But I think law of allowing goes a little bit different, even though I, in my concept of acceptance, have allow it as part of it. And I actually think it's the biggest part.
It is absolutely the biggest part.
Yeah.
For instance, let's suppose you're in I've been in, okay, you want me to tell you what ruined every relationship I've ever been in?
Yes.
I'm going to tell you because I figured it out. They had an expectation that the thing that is Monique that they like, she's funny, she's got the libido of a steel worker. They always like that. She's like, and then they start to doubt the good parts, and they start to oh, well, she's funny and engaging and magnetic or whatever. I'm not saying this for me, whatever the thing is that made them like me. They think that every other person feels that, and that I don't have the self-control to say, oh, it's so lovely that you're flirting with me, or you think I'm pretty, or you have something nice to say to me. I have a significant other at home. They really doubt that I have the self-control to take the thing that made them like me and say, not today, gate closed, I'm with someone.
You do know the concept of projection.
Oh, yeah. Everybody that ever thought I was up to no good was up to no good.
That's it, baby.
You know it.
But yes, and the other way to reflect that is just pure insecurity, that to think that they can't handle it, thus you can't handle it. So they see people flirt with you and they think you're not handling.
And I'm so not that person.
No, I would think you're actually quite expert in handling it.
Thank you.
The opposite. So yeah, I was really interested because
Can I tell you the thing though?
What's the thing?
I'm going to tell you the thing. Because I want to put this out there to people that allowing is sexy. And it's an energy thing, and people can feel when you accept and allow them to be fully themselves. And the word charisma actually comes from the Greek word Christ-like. And I always tell people that being charismatic and gorgeous, the word gorgeous actually comes from throat, and I tell people, we worry so much about Botox and, being fit and, all of this business. When you allow and you really just put that energy out there that you think other people are just dynamite the way they are, I am 20 years older than what people would consider a female sexual prime. And I'm not going to lie to you. I got it.
So, can I talk about yesterday?
Of course.
Monique and I went to Disneyland, I guess, but how many times were you stopped? I mean, it was wild how many times she was stopped by different people saying she looked so beautiful. They loved her dress. She's so beautiful. That little girl, when I was on the phone with Brian trying to get the studio set up, all of a sudden it just stopped you and said, I want to tell you you're the most beautiful.
It was so lovely. A little girl left her family and came over to me and stood and waited because it took a moment for me to notice. And I looked down and she said, your dress is beautiful. I said, thank you. She goes, and you're beautiful. And I got down so I could see her and I said, can I tell you something? And she said, what? And I said, the fact that you're so lovely yourself, you're so sweet and honest, so kind. I said, coming from anyone else in the park, it would be nice to hear, but coming from you, I'm so touched. Thank you.
I agree. That was actually the most powerful of all the times it happened. And it happened a good 15, 20 times. It was a lot.
But it's an antenna. It's a signal when you're in that vibe, it literally is like putting up an antenna to the rest of the human race saying, I think you are so cool.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but the little girl was
She was adorable.
so,
That made my day.
and she was like a little angel. She was like,
Beautiful.
yes.
So you Cindy Lou Who, like his here's a Who. She was a beautiful little girl.
Little Cindy Lou Who.
But I'm telling you, at the age I am now, whatever level of fitness or wrinkles or no wrinkles, I feel sexier and more magnetic and attractive because I have discovered my lane. And within my own lane, I allow myself and I allow other people unconditionally. It's the happiest I've ever been. It's the most fun I've ever had. And, I got a $15 dress from a thrift store and I got a lot of compliments on it.
I know that's the other secret. You're wearing a $15
dress from a thrift store.
And I can't tell you I actually said it when I picked you up. I said, oh, what a great dress. But then I suppose that was the first one. But then it's like we got out of the car. Oh, I love your dress. Oh, you look so good. We're sitting on the tram, two women. You're so beautiful, blah, blah, blah. I mean, spontaneously out of nowhere, it just kept happening.
And it's a light. And that's what I want people to understand, that every single human being has what I call a pilot light. Well, it's a little piece of God. It's a flame, whatever. You have a little pilot light. And when you allow yourself and others, that flame is bright. And people want to be around that. It's warming. It's illuminating. It feels good.
I think you're right because you could have dressed exactly the same way and looked exactly the same way and put out a different energy, a different light that people would not feel comfortable coming up to. I mean, I certainly sense people from afar, from up close, like, don't talk to them. Do. And then there are people that I'm like, oh, you can talk to this person. It's almost, I don't know that they have signs, but they almost do.
They always see bumblebee stripes. People will show you who they are and what they are if you're just paying attention to the signs. They're wearing the stripes. They'll let you know, I'm going to sting you or I'm not going to sting you.
Yeah. And sometimes people can look very menacing and actually be really wonderful. I went to I remember this, I went to a wedding of Brian's family years ago, and I was sitting with a guy who's tattooed like head to toe, and he was the most wonderful guy. We had the longest conversation. I was really intrigued, really moved by him because it was just a good connection conversation. At this family wedding, which was really wonderful.
Most of those tatted up people, it's a billboard. They've had a lot of trauma. I mean, this is not me. I mean, you can look this up. You can Google it. There's like some statistic out there that like people with over X percentage of their body tattooed have been abused. It's an actual thing. So whenever I see somebody that's really tatted up, I totally know that inside of that billboard is a human being that, oddly enough, is making it even a bigger challenge to get to know them because of what the average person perceives when they look at them. But I'm always the first person that walks up and says, is that your bulldog on your forearm?
Well, at least that's like an opener.
Yeah.
There you go. So the law of allowing is really an interesting one because I think it does parallel with acceptance in psychology. There are some distinct differences. I think in psychology, we're always looking at evidence. We're always looking at behavior. And in allowing, you're looking more at connection and emotion. Or I think it is. Am I wrong? Energy and vibration.
With me, allowing is a feeling. And when I say that, when you're truly allowing, you're at peace and you're happy. If you're not at peace and you're not happy, you're telling yourself a story about allowing because you're not allowing. When you are genuinely allowing, you're happy. That's how you know. Like I always tell people, it's like Harry Potter levitating his feather, When things are right, your feather stays up. And you're like, yeah, I'm levitating my feather. This is all good. When something's bringing you down, literally, you have to look inside yourself and say, where am I weighing it down? What expectation did I have? What was, bugging me? Like, for instance, I'll give you a perfect example. You are always challenged by sort of I want to say humanness, like if somebody's not feeling well, or you always apologize if your nose is running or something, and to me, that's just like being a human, right? So
I'm very human.
you're human, your nose runs sometimes, or your eyes, or whatever, you get a toothache, whatever. It's just, you got a body, and the body has, challenges, right? So I am usually pretty much cast iron. However, after we rode that roller coaster yesterday, I had to really pull it in. I was going to hurl.
Did you really? So let's pause for a second.
I was so going to.
She challenged me to do something that I've never wanted to do and was honestly terrified the whole time.
I could tell.
I thought you said it didn't even show. Was that
I'm polite.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
We went in this giant Ferris wheel.
It's very high. It's really high.
Very high. And it just
it's taller than all the hotels. And it's in the, LA, it's California Adventure. It's really
part of Disneyland. So we're up there, and it stopped for the longest.
So there was definitely a wheelchair person on the bottom.
Maybe, or
a death. There might have been a death.
The girl in our car had a theory that she said, I think someone hurled, and they're cleaning it up. Whatever it was, we were up there at the very top for a long time, and I kept picturing us having to, get one of those fireman ladders and just be going down. Yeah, I went through every mental picture in my head, and
you did not look up the whole time.
I looked out, but
he was like,
I didn't look around.
No.
I looked around a couple of times, and that was enough. But yeah, it was tough for me. So after
the last minute, you kept saying, this other ride has no line. We could just go right over there.
That's right.
Yeah.
I kept trying to get us out of it.
With the fast pass. I think our fast pass is over there.
Go.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then, so Monique very, very nicely decided, I'm going to,
Well, because the last time I didn't ride the ride, not out of fear, but the roller coasters shake you up, the reels. And I knew my stomach was like, we had a large lunch. I was like, this could get so bad so fast.
I'm very lucky to have a bit of an iron stomach when it comes to that stuff. Yeah, it doesn't bother me. But yeah, so roller coasters don't bother me.
Yeah. So the Incredible strip, which is like has a loop to loop, and it's tall, and it goes way up high, and it goes it's a thing.
But being stationary and stuck, that would be
yeah, but being hurled through space at 60 miles an hour and flipped upside down, that was a big party. Yeah. So we get in there, and they and you could tell, you go, well, if you could pull it even tighter, it'll hold you in place. So that crank the thing up, smushing the shim.
Otherwise, she'll be tossed around.
Yeah. No. I'm like, right. So we do and I was good through the whole fume. But then at the end, it stops, and it jerked really hard. It really jerked us twice, like really hard. And that was when my nice Disney character lunch was like, ooh, this is, ooh. And I remember just thinking, the only reason I was able to pull it together,
yes,
is because I thought, if I hurl, he's going to feel so bad. I wouldn't even care that much, other because things happen. But I knew that you are such a sensitive person. That's not of me being in discomfort of any kind. So I just took a deep breath, and I thought, do not hurl for Greg's sake. You cannot allow this to, and I have a very strong mind.
So you had resistance?
I had resistance to hurling, and I didn't do it. And you know what the weird part is? And this is the whole reason I did this whole long story, is because when I set my mind to it, within a few moments, it passed. And if people only understood how letting things pass is truly a decision. I mean, even on a physical level, what is more powerful than abject nausea? And even still, I made a decision. I do not want my friend to feel bad. This is not going to happen. I'm not going to allow it. I took a deep breath. I stood still, and it passed. And it's biblical. This too shall pass.
Well, it's actually a great point, and it's the very thing we do in, like, say, panic disorder treatment, etc. Any kind of a strong reaction physiological that people have, we have them sit in it and let it pass, which we call exposure with response prevention. The response prevention being that we're not allowing them to throw up. They get through it and it does pass. You're exactly right. And it is a decision. And once the brain learns that, it strengthens from that process. So I think you're exactly right on. Brian, I know we're really short on time. Do you have any questions that Monique can share wisdom with?
Or we can.
Yeah, I mean, you're the wise one.
Yes, let's see if we can get two of them.
I'm the funny one. You're the wise one.
I don't know. Funny looking here, wise and beautiful. That's it.
Okay, the first one. I keep replaying a conversation in my head where someone disrespected me. How do I allow that without feeling like I'm letting them off the hook?
Okay, you're doing it the wrong way because allowing is letting them off the hook. That's exactly what it is, which is what I call that Did I take your job?
Oh, go.
I call that reshuffling the deck. And what happens when you reshuffle the deck, and I've done that, like when guys break up with me, the crring, 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 you just keep reshuffling the deck. And what I always ask the person is, when you say they disrespected you, okay, let's take them out of the equation. Let's just go right to the feeling of disrespect. Okay, what does that mean to you? What's the core issue? People get so upset with me because I just don't take the pat answer. Well, he disrespected me. You know what disrespect is. Let's define terms. I know what I think is disrespectful. I want you to explain to me what the person said that was disrespectful. And then I want you to tell me on a core level why you let that, challenge you. You know who you are. What was disrespectful about it? And it always goes back to ego. If you're in your ego, allowing is not going to be your jam.
This is so interesting because you go deeper than I do.
I go way deep.
So here we go. I mean, I would actually challenge this person. What is read the question again, Brian? So
he's looking at me. He's on high alert.
It says, I keep replaying a conversation in my head where someone disrespected me. How do I allow that without feeling like I let them go? Because I have another example, which I still always think about, where I was in line in Trader Joe's and some guy in front of me turned to talk to somebody and a couple went and cut in front of him. And it was like probably 6 of us behind that guy. And it killed me to let them go and just not say anything because they technically didn't cut in front of me, but they cut in front of the guy in front of me. And I didn't want to be that one person that like acts crazy at Trader Joe's and is like, hey, sit the fuck out of the line. You can't just cut people, And I don't know if that's like an ego thing because for me, it's more like, hey,
we follow your rules. I get that. That's a little bit different. That's different.
No, I'm going to say,
that's different.
If I would find no problem because I'm probably the guy that would be 3 people back and go, hey, you just cut. The line's back here. Like, unfortunately, I think
I do that.
But I would also, if I made the choice, which you did in that moment, to not say anything, then it's on you to let it go. Because
absolutely,
if you allow it, do not use that word. If you put it into your mind and you just start obsessing about it and you're going into the resentment pattern,
I was pissed. I was feeling like I drank poison and just held my breath the entire thing. My reaction is to snap. My reaction is to like, you held yourself. Yeah, I'm just letting myself back because if they do not give me the response that I would expect from them to be like, oh, I'm so sorry. But it's like, how do you just not see all these people online, So my whole thing is like, I felt like I had to hold my tongue because it was going to be an issue bigger than just cutting. And I felt like I let them get away with it.
So for you and this guy, I'm going to do just a real quick thing of what we would do in psychology. Psychology, not to say this isn't, but just to say what I might do, which wouldn't be quite as deep, is I might, instead of going quite there, I would just say, okay, let's go into that. What would be the worst thing if you allowed that person to go there? And we're going to sit with that worst thing. And can you handle it? Which you probably can, and you already have. That's the thing. You already went through it. And we would even, if that image, when you were obsessing about it, we would do an exercise, maybe writing it down, doing an exposure or something like that to expose you to that very painful thing to let you see that you can survive this. It's like a way of acknowledging your own strength that's already in there. But at the same time, what I'm doing is desensitizing the actual thing. So it both helps the actual thing to just kind of go off into the ether to allow it to go by. But the other is to build some strength within you that you can handle things. And, and that you didn't do anything wrong. I would hold that in the grocery line, you made a choice, and that's the choice you made. And so now you chose that path, go down that path. If you went down that path and then said, I should have done that other path the whole time, then you're completely powerless. And all it's going to do is lead you back to resentment. So I think it's good to just go, okay, well, I made that choice. I'm going to allow this to be. And if you're still stuck on it, we can get you unstuck to be able to go on with your life. But I understand sometimes things come back at us. There is a principle that we say of forgive, but don't forget, because really you can forgive somebody, you can let it go, but forgetting, it's not so easy. Our brains won't let us forget things. So we have to acknowledge that's in there.
Okay. We're almost at our time.
Okay. Well, is there one more real quick?
If you want to knock it.
Let's do one more.
Okay, my partner doesn't manage their time well, and it stresses me out. Is accepting them as they are the same as giving up on change?
Yes. How quick is that? Because here's the deal. I was married to someone who every single time I would come out to go to an event would say, "You're going to wear that?" And I would say, "I'm a grown woman with a full-length mirror and a high IQ. This is what I've chosen." And then finally, one day, I said, "Okay, this is how it's going to go down. I'm going to come out, and the only decision that you need to make is whether or not you're getting in the car with me. You don't get to do that thing you do where you kind of cast doubt on my choice, and then just because I want you to be happy, I go and change the outfit." And I think with time, because this is such a common one, if you're with someone and you have to be somewhere, the only decision you need to make is, are you willing to get in the car and leave without them? And if you do that one or two times and they have to pay for the Uber or they don't get to the event, you're letting them create a problem for you. And that's your choice.
I'll just put the cherry on top of that. That accepting your partner as they are is the most powerful thing you can do for your relationship.
I'm going to try that. Yeah, I'll report.
Please.
Okay, is that it? That went
fast.
Oh my goodness, that went fast. We did have just a little bit less than we normally do. So thank you, Monique.
My pleasure.
I mean, I really appreciate you being here and talking about this. I don't think we're done with this topic.
We're not even getting. We just scratched this. Allowing is for. We could do seasons of allowing.
We could, and actually, that might be a good thing to do. But I think I'm glad we scratched the surface on this because I think this is an important topic.
Well, it's such a huge umbrella that under this umbrella we have ego, partnership. How deep is the commitment? How valuable is the partnership? Like allowing is just this.
Allowing is,
but there's so much under it. Whether it's work, whether it's yourself, whether it's what if you're a freak? How much freak can you allow?
Is that the worst thing to be?
No.
If you enjoyed today's episode, share it with a friend. This is your 6th time being here.
It's the 1-year anniversary for the first time I met you guys.
Actual 1-year anniversary.
That's true. It was a Monday.
That's right. And also, we've done a podcast together 4 different times, which is called Friends with Privileges. 5? Oh, God.
That's okay.
Shame on me.
It's no.
5 different times. It's Friends with Privileges. It's on YouTube, and it's incredible.
Monique Marvez channel at Monique Marvez on YouTube. And it's a looser. That one, I kind of drive that one more. It's a little bit looser and anecdotal. This one's a little more doctory.
That one's more of a bumper car where I'm a little bit more of the roller coaster, I guess, or more of a straight shot. Maybe I'm the merry-go-round.
You could be. Hell, you're very doctory and clinical, and I love that. I always say you're the hardware to my software. You're the structure to my stories.
See, now I'm flushed. I'm verklempt. Thank you so much. Hey, don't forget to rate, review, follow Off the Couch with Dr. Greg on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen. Links to, I put studies for today. I went ahead and found some cool stuff on the YouTube page, youtube.com/Dr. Greg. So with the Monique's YouTube page, it's at Monique Marvez. With me, it's at Dr. Greg, DRGREG. Don't spell it out. Including, I have a handout.
Nice.
Yeah, so we do those 5 questions, so you can go back if you didn't hear them, and that you can, and some other words of wisdom. Until next time, keep questioning the patterns. Don't settle for chemistry when you deserve compatibility. Hit me up on socials at Ask Dr. Greg. This is Dr. Greg, Brian, and the incredible, brilliant Monique Marvez. Thank you. Until next time. Oh, we should do your sign out.
No, we'll do yours.
Okay.
It's your show.
Until next time, be present, be flexible, and be kind.